Jalabert there in third or fourth position out on the road today is rivaling many of the big climbers there. He's just gone by Pascal Richard. The advantage Marco Pantani has at the moment is 13 seconds over Hernan Buenahora, and this man holds some incredible records. He holds the record for the fastest ascent of the Alpe d'Huez during the Tour de France, and that is at a time of 37 minutes and 35 seconds. That's almost 3 minutes faster, in fact, than that time that was done by Gert-Jan Teunissen, the famous Dutch climber.
Well, he's got that little gear rolling yet again, and he's gaining time over everybody. Jalabert using his common sense and knowing he can't go with this man to ride at his own pace. He is still fourth overall in this race. Here he is on the left, but he's 5 minutes and 24 seconds behind this morning. Add on the difference now, he's losing to Marco Pantani.
Great ride there by Simone, again with the big boys of this year's Giro d'Italia. Marco Pantani, though, Phil, turned professional back in 1992 at the end of the season, actually in September, having won already the amateur version of the Giro d'Italia. He was brought into the Carrera team to look after a certain Claudio Chiappucci at the time. And ever since then, the two riders didn't tend to get on too well because they have a similar temperament when it comes to the mountains.
This man really has developed into a fantastic bike rider, only the 7th rider ever to do the double last year with the Giro d'Italia and the Tour de France. Pascal Richard now having to look a little bit from afar as the man in pink starts to head up towards the summit now of the Madonna di Capiglio. And still the acceleration is there. He suffers and suffers, but he just keeps on going quicker and quicker. This is another demonstration by Marco as to how to win a stage of the Giro d'Italia in the mountains. He's opened a gap of 25 seconds now, so the gap is opening slowly but very, very surely.
It makes you wonder what he's going to do tomorrow for an encore, because these last 2 days he's been absolutely magnificent, and I have to agree with you, Phil. I reckon tomorrow's stage is even harder than this stage today. Today, really, the riders only had to worry about one major climb, and that's this climb up here to the finish. Hernan Buenahora now in the sights of the chasing group, which contains some of the big names of the Giro d'Italia. Ivan Gotti, followed by Simone, followed by Laurent Jalabert, who is doing a great ride because he is not a great climber, but he's sticking with them.
Jalabert is having a good day today, whereas he had a rather shaky one yesterday. As the latest time checks, they're almost on to Buenahora now, and he may as well hang on and wait for them because he's not going to hold them off at all. This man, though, is now looking to make more big time on the climb here, and he's opening up the gaps, which are now pushing up towards that magical minute yet again. All of the other riders who have been totally powerless to control this man in the mountains are now chasing him home yet again. They must be getting a little bit tired of that. Inside 3 kilometers to go.
Amazing to see on the front of that group of climbers. In fact, it was Laurent Jalabert who was setting the pace there, but this man really is putting in a magnificent performance. He finished third in the Tour de France back in 1997, and that was a great performance, and that was when we started to think that this man on an ideal course, in fact, could go forward and win the race, and that's what he did last year after already taking the Giro d'Italia, and it looks very much as if nobody is going to be a contest to him this year in the Giro d'Italia, and I wonder if he will go forward to the Tour de France, because he says the course is actually not hard enough for him, and he says he may well make the decision not to go to the big race in France in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, he seems to be set in his ways in that race, unfortunately for us, but you never know, he might change his mind. He seems to change his mind with occasion too. 43 seconds, the last time check now, and he's now absolutely scurrying across the plateau here as he races into the last kilometre now. There's nothing going to stop this man from taking his 4th stage win now, and his 2nd in succession. Yet another mountain top has been claimed and conquered by Marco Pantani as he races up towards the finish. And tomorrow, of course, we have the Mortirolo, the big climb, and the Gavia, that huge mountain, which is higher than anything on offer in the Tour de France.
This is absolutely phenomenal. This man is riding like a true champion. This is what cyclists like to see. They like to see the man that is leading the race actually still having the courage to go out and attack. But Laurent Jalabert has done the ride of the day for me. After that, Marco Pantani, because he's there with all of the climbers. But for Pantani, win number 4.
Here he comes, another long day, not really for him because he loves these days in the saddle. Comes over the line and for the 2nd day running can take a seat and watch the seconds build up his overall lead in this tour. His overall lead after his ride yesterday was 3 minutes and 42 seconds, and I think now we're going to go over the 5-minute mark for Marco Pantani. Jalabert has done well here to tame some good climbers, and so too has Gilberto Simoni again. He's the rider off to our left as they come up towards the line. line now, and also the other rider here for Kelme is Heras. He's done a good ride, and this is a very select little group that races up towards the line. And the sprint has been started here by, I think it's Heras who started to lead them out. But this man has slipped away unseen by everyone and totally surprises us. Massimo Codol is coming in a clear second place here. And he's 20 minutes behind overall. And he just hangs on, look, as Laurent Jalabert nips in there ahead of Simoni, Gotti, Buenohora and Heras in that order. So Codol did a bit of a ride there today to get second place in the Tour, but only on the stage because Marco Pantani is very much a clear leader of the Tour of Italy now. He now leads, in fact, overall Salvadelli by 5 minutes and 38 seconds, and that is an awful big time gap, Paul.
It's a huge time gap, and also 6 minutes 12 seconds back to Ivan Gotti. That really has been a remarkable performance here. There is confirmation of those time gaps. Jalabert, though, Phil, riding a great Giro d'Italia in fourth place, 6 minutes 39 down.
Well, just watch this now. Marco Pantani takes on the Maglia Rosa yet again. That looks safe, but he also takes on now the Chiclamine coloured jersey as well as the man who leads this race on points. And wait for it, because in a few minutes' time he's going to pull on the green jersey as leader of the King of the Mountains as well. So with 2 days to race and one big mountain stage to come, Marco Pantani has the lead in every competition that matters in this year's Giro d'Italia. Now, if that isn't dominating the event, I don't know what is for Marco Pantani. Well, as we look down on Madonna di Campiglio this morning for the stage of 190 kilometres, the 21st stage of the Giro d'Italia, there is terrible news because Marco Pantani will not be climbing the highest mountains of the Giro d'Italia. He has been disqualified because his hematocrit level is more than the permitted 50%. It was in fact reported as 52%, and as a result, as a safety to all riders, the Unicycliste Internationale bar the riders from anything they are taking part in, and that means out of the Giro d'Italia goes Marco Pantani. This is an unbelievable revelation. He has taken these blood tests previously when he has been well within the permitted 50%, but now Pantani, who has won 4 stages of the race and built a lead of 5 minutes overall, will not be allowed to start the race today, which means that Paolo Salvadelli will be the new leader of the Tour, and I'm sure he wouldn't want that. Pantani has said he's taken nothing, and in fact he is also saying that he is not in any way cheating and he has been unjustly thrown out of the Tour. So I'm sure that story will run and run, but the news is now he's no longer in this race, and that is very, very sad indeed for Marco Pantani. In fact, all of the leading riders were checked this morning, and only Pantani has gone over the 50%. It's now put Salvadelli as the leader of the Tour by 34 seconds. In fact, the top 3 now are pretty close together. This is the team doctor of Mercatoni Uno, and saying that it's never happened to Marco Pantani before. And everybody very surprised, and Pantani himself is saying he has done absolutely nothing wrong. This was the actual piece of paper, and this is what Pantani had to say to the people outside of his hotel before leaving the race. And I think everybody's sorry to see him go, but...